Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video, we are going to make bread out of chicken. For this recipe, we are going to be using a couple of ingredients that go back probably 10 or 12 years for me, back when I first started dabbling in modernist cuisine. And I'd actually taken a little bit of a stab at this chicken bread using the corn dog maker back when I first got that, as I was trying to make some chicken cordon bleus. The magic ingredient that we are going to be using is transglutaminase, specifically transglutaminase RM. Sometimes transglutaminase is called meat glue, and because of that, it's sort of unfairly earned a reputation as being part of Frankenfood. But really, it is just a protein binder. It takes proteins and makes them stick together. Now, the implications of this are pretty huge. And I've already got a number of different ideas that I plan on using this for, including making noodles out of chicken. So imagine a chicken noodle soup where the noodles themselves are chicken, or a chicken Alfredo where the noodles themselves are chicken. Of course, there's the whole corn dog maker thing, and who knows what else I'll come up with. Now, in terms of the noodles, I'm not going to take credit for that idea. The first time I heard of that was, again, probably 10 or 12 years ago, where Chef Wiley Dufresne, in his restaurant WD-40 in New York, was making noodles out of prawns using transglutaminase. Now, one thing to note, transglutaminase is very powerful, so in order to kind of get it at a measurable volume, they do need to pad it with some maltodextrin. Not a lot, nothing that is going to impact your carb count for the day. But full disclosure, it does contain a little bit of maltodextrin. So if you are super clean keto or super clean carnivore, then this probably isn't for you. Transglutaminase RM also includes sodium caseinate, which helps boost the binding power. And that's why we're going to add a little bit extra of our own. I mean, we could use more transglutaminase, but that means more maltodextrin, so we're going to use some of this. Additionally, I have read, though I have not tried it, you can use sodium caseinate in place of sodium citrate when you're doing melting cheeses like cheese sauces, cheese soups, or ooey gooey melty cheese slices. Now, I want to be really clear about this. If I ever plan on using an ingredient just once, I'll let you know that this is sort of a one-trick pony. These ingredients, I don't think so. I fully expect to be using these more in future recipes, so if you decide to buy them, you can buy them with confidence that you're going to see more. The final binding agent that we're going to use is some beef gelatin. Now, you can probably get away with just using Knox. I haven't tried it. I just used the beef gelatin because I got a bag. This will help with the texture and also moisture retention as we're baking. I base this recipe around the standard size can of chicken breast here in the United States, which is about like 5.5 ounces. Once drained, though, you wind up with somewhere between 95 and 100 grams. So you can either just use a standard 5.5 ounce can, drain it and call that your measurement, or you can drain it and measure out anywhere between 95 and 100 grams. So with that, let's do our first preparation, which will be essentially a bun using the Dash Mini Bundt cake maker. We'll start by draining our chicken. Now, this is a Costco can of chicken, so it's about twice the size of a normal can. Then we're going to want to rinse it because canned chicken is fairly high sodium. You're going to want to rinse it once or twice, unless you can find some low sodium chicken. Also, you don't need to squeeze it bone dry. We do want a little bit of liquid for our gelatin to interact with. We'll add our chicken, which drained is about 95 to 100 grams, to a small food processor. To that, we'll add 1/2 cup or 60 grams of shredded mozzarella and 1 egg white. That's 2 tablespoons or about 30 ml liquid egg white. We'll then process this for 20 to 30 seconds before taking a spatula to scrape down the sides. Then we'll process again for another 20 to 30 seconds until our resulting mixture looks like a paste. Almost a little bit like mashed potatoes here. Again, scrape down the sides. Then we add 1/2 teaspoon or 2 grams of beef gelatin, 1/2 teaspoon or 2 grams of sodium caseinate. Make sure to sprinkle it around real well. And finally, 1/2 teaspoon or 2 grams of transglutaminase. We'll process this again, 20 to 30 seconds, once again scraping down the sides, and then one final shot for another 20 to 30 seconds. Remove the blade and scrape it off. Then I try and spatulize all of my paste to one side. That way the transglutaminase can start to act while my Bundt cake maker warms up. Next, transfer all of your paste into your preheated Bundt cake maker. Try and spread it around as evenly as you can. You don't have to be perfect because as this starts to bake, it will expand and it will fill outward and upward. We're going to let this bake for about 15 minutes. Alrighty, look at that. Look at that color. We're going to transfer this off to a cooling rack and let it cool for probably 10 to 15 minutes. Now, because the bundt cake maker is still a little bit tricky to find, we're also going to do this as a chaffle. We're going to make another batch exactly the same, and we're going to divide it between two Dash Mini waffle makers. You don't have to be real perfect in centering it because, again, it's going to expand outward and upward. But do press down on the lid a little bit to spread it out. Now, I got a little bit overzealous on this second one, so as I push down the lid, you're going to see I get a little ooze going there. We'll let these cook for 7 to 8 minutes, and then take these and put them on a cooling rack. Very nice color on this. And the other one, you can see I got a little bit of that extra ooze coming out the side. No big deal, but I could probably make 3 chaffles out of this amount of batter. Maybe that's what I'll do next time. We will take our bundt cake now and slice it in half. Check out this texture. Does that not look like bread? It's soft, it's spongy. Now we're going to make a little sandwich out of this, a little chicken cordon bleu sandwich. We got some Swiss, we got a little bit of Black Forest ham, squirted Dijon mustard, top it off, slice it up, and time for a taste. So here we have our little chicken cordon bleu sandwich. That is very tasty. What I like is that it doesn't crumble and fall apart. Now I've actually refrigerated these, toasted them, and then eaten them, and they still hold together quite nicely. Now this sandwich probably could benefit from a little bit of mayo. I think that would offset some of the saltiness. And really that saltiness comes from the canned chicken itself. If you can find a low sodium canned chicken, great. Otherwise, probably rinse it once or twice, see if you can get a little bit of that salt off. Next we have the chaffle, and this is sort of a double chaffle because it's CH chicken and CH cheese. Again, it's sort of somewhere in between chicken and bread. It's not a McNugget, but you're not also going to necessarily mistake it for bread. But I think this has the makings for a wonderful carnivore sandwich. You know, you could put this under a toaster oven with some fresh mozzarella and then smear a little low-carb marinara on the other one. You basically have a chicken parm sandwich inside out. Now, I will tell you that because the chaffle is a bit thinner, it doesn't hold on to as much moisture. And if I were doing another batch, 2 things I would do. First, I would probably dial back to about 6 minutes. Second, I think there's probably enough in this recipe to squeeze out 3 chaffles. I had a little bit of overflow on that second chaffle. I thought it would all fit. I think maybe if I paid a little bit closer attention to the amount that I put in each, might have been able to pull off 3 chaffles. Now, if you enjoy kitchen chemistry and playing around with recipes and being creative, I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. In fact, yesterday I made this chicken batter, put it in a piping bag, and used the corn dog maker. I piped down a bead of chicken in each of the cavities, put in a mozzarella stick, piped a bead of batter on top of it, closed it, and basically I had sort of an inside-out chicken parmesan minus the marinara. But these could have been just like dunking sticks, so chicken dunking sticks into marinara. Wonderful little low-carb snack. I will include a link to all of these ingredients down below in the description, along with a link to the printable recipe and macros. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click on that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, hit subscribe for more recipes and videos like this. And lastly, if you want to help support the Serious Keto Test Kitchen, click that join button and see what memberships and perks are all about. Thanks for watching.